Please, I'm asking you, not commanding, not demanding, pleading. Give me 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes of your full attention, your undivided presence, your willingness to stay in one place long enough to hear what I have been trying to reach you with for longer than you realize. 3 minutes. That is all I'm asking for right now. Not an hour. Not a commitment you are not ready to make. 3 minutes of stillness. And what I place inside you in those 3 minutes will change the direction of everything that comes after them. You almost did not stop. You almost kept scrolling. Something in you almost moved past this without pausing. And I want you to know that something was not the algorithm, and it was not curiosity. That something was me. I reached into the flow of your day, into the stream of noise and content and distraction that surrounds you every hour. And I put my hand on your attention, and I said, stop here. Stop here, because what I have been preparing to say to you has been building for months, and the moment to say it is right now, in this exact window, at this exact point in your day. Please do not move. Please do not reach for something else. Please give me these 3 minutes, because I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, that what waits on the other side of 3 minutes of honest attention is worth more than anything else competing for your focus right now. I do not make promises carelessly. I do not use the word promise lightly. Every word I speak is weight, and I am placing the full weight of my faithfulness behind what I am about to say to you. I know you are tired. I know that tiredness is not the surface kind, the kind that a good night of sleep fixes. I know it is the deeper kind, the kind that lives in your chest, the kind that has been accumulating not for days but for seasons, the kind that makes even good things feel heavy, and even small disappointments feel unbearable. I know you carry that tiredness into every room you enter and out of every room you leave. And I know that most of the people around you have no idea how tired you actually are, because you have become so skilled at making it invisible. You have been performing strength for so long that some days you cannot remember what it felt like to simply be held without having to hold everything else at the same time. Give me 3 minutes, beloved, because what I am about to speak into that tiredness is not more instruction. It is not more responsibility. It is not a list of things you need to do better, or believe more completely, or pray more consistently. What I am about to speak into that tiredness is rest, real rest. The kind that begins in the spirit before it ever reaches the body. The kind that changes not just how you feel, but how you see. Give me 3 minutes, and I will begin something in you right now that no amount of sleep could accomplish. I see you in the middle of a season that has asked more of you than you were told it would ask. You stepped into this season expecting one thing and found another. You brought your plans and your faith and your best effort, and the season met you with resistance you did not budget for, with delays you did not anticipate, with losses you were not prepared to absorb. And through all of it, you kept going. You kept showing up. You kept believing, even when believing felt like the most exhausting thing you did all day. I saw every single moment of that. I did not look away for even 1 second of it. I was there in every moment you thought you were alone in it. And I am telling you now, with more certainty than any voice you have ever heard, that the keeping going mattered. It mattered more than you know. It mattered more than you will fully understand until you are standing on the other side of this season, looking back at exactly this moment. Type, "I am still here, Lord," in the comments right now. Not because I need the confirmation. I already know you are here. Type it because your own heart needs to hear you say it. Type it because there is something powerful that happens when you declare out loud, even in 4 small words, that you have not given up, that you are still present, that you are still willing to receive what I have for you. Type it now and then keep reading, because the 3 minutes I asked for are still unfolding, and I'm not finished with what I came to say. Beloved, I want to tell you something about these 3 minutes that will help you understand why I asked for them so plainly. Why I said please instead of simply declaring. I said please because I honor your will. I do not take your attention by force. I never have. Every moment of genuine connection between your heart and mine has always been initiated by invitation, mine extended toward you, yours extended back toward me. That exchange, that meeting of willingness, is where every miracle in your life has actually begun. Not in the dramatic moment of manifestation that other people can see, in the quiet moment of willingness that happens first, invisibly, in the space between my voice and your choosing to hear it. These 3 minutes are that moment, right now, right here. The willingness you are demonstrating by staying is already the beginning of what I am releasing. Give me these 3 minutes, not as a transaction, not as a formula for unlocking a result, but as a relationship. Give me these 3 minutes the way you would give a few minutes to someone who loves you deeply and has something urgent and important to tell you. Because that is exactly what this is. I love you deeply. What I have to tell you is urgent, and I have been trying to find a moment in your day when you would be still enough to receive it. Here is what I have to tell you. The situation that has been keeping you up at night, the one you have turned over in your mind so many times that you know every angle of it by heart and still cannot find the exit. That situation is not as permanent as it feels. I need you to hear that sentence not as comfort but as fact. It is not as permanent as it feels. Feeling permanent and being permanent are two entirely different things. And right now your feelings have been doing the reporting, and your feelings are exhausted. And exhausted reporters do not always file accurate stories. The accurate story, the one I am holding from my perspective, the one that sees your life from beginning to end without the distortion of fatigue or fear, the accurate story is this. What is pressing on you right now has an end. It has an appointed conclusion, and that conclusion is not defeat. That conclusion is not the permanent diminishment of your life. That conclusion is the moment this season releases into something your current vantage point cannot yet see clearly, but that I have already seen, already prepared, and already placed your name on. 3 minutes, beloved. Keep giving me 3 minutes. We are not done yet, and what comes next is the part I most needed you to stay for. I want to speak now to the specific fear that lives beneath all the other fears. The one you have not named out loud because naming it feels like giving it too much power. It is the fear that says you have somehow missed your window, that the right moment for your life to turn came and went while you were struggling to survive, and now what remains is a diminished version of what could have been, that the people who were supposed to come did not come in time, that the doors that were supposed to open were somehow connected to a version of you that no longer exists. That you are too tired, too behind, too worn by the journey to still be a candidate for the kind of life you used to believe was possible. That fear, that specific, quiet, corrosive fear, that is the one I came to address today, directly and completely, because it is a lie, and I will not let it stay in you unchallenged. You have not missed your window. You have not missed your window. You have not missed your window. I am saying it 3 times because once is not enough for something your fear has been saying to you daily for months. You have not missed your window. The window is not behind you. The window is what you are standing in front of right now, and it is wider than anything the fear described to you, and it has been waiting for this exact moment, this exact version of you, the one shaped by every hard season, every kept promise, every quiet act of faithfulness that nobody else saw, and I recorded every single one. The tired version of you did not disqualify you. The tired version of you is the version that proved you were serious. Anyone can believe when believing feels good. Anyone can have faith when faith is being rewarded visibly and consistently. The faith that means something, the faith that moves the kind of mountains I am about to move in your life, is the faith that kept going when it had every reasonable justification to stop. That is the faith you demonstrated. That is the faith I am now responding to. And the response is not small. Type, "My window is still open" in the comments right now. Type it as a declaration against the fear I just named. Type it as the sentence that replaces the lie your exhaustion has been telling you. Type it slowly and mean every word of it, because what you declare in faith, I back with purpose. Your window is still open. Say it, write it. Let it be the sentence that begins to push the fear backward. I want to give you now the specific things that are moving toward you, because general promises are beautiful, but specific promises build the kind of faith that endures past the moment of hearing them. I am going to tell you what is coming, not in vague language, not in symbols that require interpretation, but as plainly as love can speak to a heart that has been waiting long enough to deserve plainness. Something is coming toward you in the area of your finances that will arrive from a direction you have not been watching. You have been focused on one source, one door, one potential channel of provision. And while you were watching that door, I was working through a completely different one. Within weeks, not months, not years, weeks, something financial will shift in your life in a way that does not match the logic of your current circumstances. It will not make complete sense in natural terms. It will not be fully explainable by your current income, your current opportunities, or your current resources. It will carry the unmistakable signature of my involvement, which means it will come with peace attached to it. Not the anxious excitement of something that might disappear, the settled, grounded peace of something that was designed to stay and to grow. Something is coming toward you in the area of your physical body that you have been quietly worried about, but have not spoken about as much as the worry deserves. A symptom, a condition, a weariness in your body that you have been managing and pushing past and telling yourself is probably nothing, while a part of you has been afraid it might be something. I am moving in your body right now, not after this message, right now as you read these words. Something that has been out of alignment is being corrected. Something that has been draining your physical energy is being addressed. The strength you have been missing is beginning to return, and the return will not be gradual and barely noticeable. It will be the kind of return that makes you remember what it felt like to feel well. And the remembering will bring tears to your eyes because you had almost forgotten. Something is coming toward you in the area of your sense of purpose. That feeling of knowing why you are here and what you are supposed to be doing with the days you have been given. That feeling went quiet sometime in the last few years. Not because your purpose disappeared, because the noise of surviving drowned out the voice of calling. In the coming weeks, that voice is getting louder. In the coming weeks, you're going to begin receiving clarity about your next steps in a way that feels less like planning and more like remembering. Like you always knew this was the direction and you are finally hearing it clearly again after a long season of static. Type I. Receive all three in the comments right now. Finances, body, purpose. Type. It is your agreement that all three of these words are for you and not for someone else. Type it as the moment you stop being a passive observer of what might happen and become an active receiver of what is already moving. Type it now. Beloved, I want to tell you about what happens in the spirit realm when you give me 3 minutes. Not theologically, not in abstract language, but in the most practical terms I can use to help you understand why these 3 minutes matter so much more than they appear to. When you stop in the middle of a day filled with noise and choose, even briefly, even imperfectly, to turn your attention toward me, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. The shift is not dramatic. It does not feel like an earthquake or a rushing wind. It feels like a slight loosening, like a tension you had stopped noticing because you had carried it so long, begins just slightly to release. That loosening is real. It is not imagination. It is the physical sensation of something spiritual occurring, and that loosening is the beginning of everything else I am describing to you today. 3 minutes of honest attention creates an opening, and through that opening, things that had been held in waiting begin to move. Provision that had been staged just outside of view begins to approach. Healing that had been positioned at the threshold begins to enter. Clarity that had been forming just below the level of your awareness begins to rise. The 3 minutes do not earn these things. They were already prepared. The 3 minutes simply create the opening through which they can arrive. You were not blocking them intentionally. You were simply too busy, too distracted, too caught in the noise to be in a position to receive them. These 3 minutes of stillness are you repositioning yourself. And repositioning is sometimes the only thing standing between a person and everything I have been trying to give them. I want to tell you about a man named Daniel, not the prophet, though his story carries echoes of the same faithfulness. This Daniel was a man in his early 60s who had spent 3 years in a season he described as the longest hallway of his life. Door after door that seemed like it might open stayed closed. He had reduced his life to survival mode, making just enough to cover what needed to be covered, feeling the distance between where he was and where he believed he was supposed to be expanding rather than shrinking. He found a message similar to this one on a morning when he had intended to skip anything that required his emotional attention because he simply did not have it to spare. Something made him stop. He gave 3 minutes, reluctantly, without great expectation. He typed a declaration in the comments more out of tired discipline than genuine faith, and he sat with the stillness just long enough for the loosening to begin. Within 3 weeks, a consulting opportunity arrived through a contact he had not spoken to in over 2 years. The opportunity was short-term but paid significantly. That payment allowed him to take a risk on a small project he had been too financially paralyzed to attempt. That project led to a partnership that was still producing fruit 18 months later. He said the 3 minutes he gave that morning did not feel like the beginning of anything. They felt like almost nothing at all, but they were the opening. They were the repositioning. And everything that followed walked through the door that those 3 minutes unlocked. Your 3 minutes, beloved, are that opening. They are that repositioning. And I am telling you right now, with every ounce of the faithfulness I have always shown you, that what walks through the door these 3 minutes have unlocked is worth every second of the waiting that preceded them. Here is what I want you to do before you move from this place. I want you to do one thing, just one thing, that makes this moment real beyond the feeling. Not because the feeling is not real, it is. But because feelings are temporary and actions create anchors, and I want you to have an anchor to this moment that you can return to in the days ahead, when the noise comes back and the tiredness returns and the fear tries to reclaim the ground it just lost. Write down. Somewhere you will see it tomorrow and the day after, and the day after that. Write down this sentence. I gave 3 minutes and the opening was created. Write it simply. Write it plainly. And when you look at it in the days ahead, and the specific things I spoke over you begin to arrive, let that sentence be your reminder of the moment the shift began. Not the moment the blessing was visible, the moment the opening was made, because sometimes those 2 moments are weeks apart, and in the space between them, you will need the anchor. Share this message with one person today, not because my words need more reach. I can reach whoever I intend to reach. But because when you become the person who delivers a word of hope to someone else, something about that act of generosity confirms in your own spirit that you believe the word you are sharing. And that confirmation is one of the most powerful things you can do for your own faith right now. Share it with the person whose face came into your mind while you were reading this, because that face did not appear there randomly. I placed it there, and what I placed there, I placed with intention. Subscribe to this channel because these 3 minutes were not a complete sentence. They were the beginning of a conversation I intend to continue, and the next part of what I have to say builds directly on what I have already spoken to you today. I do not release everything at once. I release what you are ready to carry, and then I prepare you for the next layer. But I need you to be present for the next layer when it arrives. Subscribe, stay close. Do not let the noise of the days ahead pull you so far from this place that you miss what comes next. Here is my final word to you, the word I most needed you to stay for, the word that I placed at the end so that only those who gave me the 3 minutes would receive it. You are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You are not the person in the story who gets a small and quiet version of the blessing while others around you receive the dramatic and undeniable one. You are the person I chose to speak to today, plainly and urgently and with more love than any language can fully carry. You are the person whose name I called when the list was made. You are the person whose tiredness I saw and whose faithfulness I recorded and whose window is still open and whose body is being healed and whose finances are shifting and whose purpose is returning to clarity. You gave me 3 minutes. I will spend a lifetime giving back to you what those 3 minutes of willingness released. What I have spoken will come to pass. What I have declared will be delivered. What I have placed your name on was always yours, and now it is moving toward you with everything it carries. You will not regret these 3 minutes. I promised you that at the beginning. I keep every promise I make. You will not regret them. You will not regret them. You will not regret them. Receive it. Believe it. Walk in it. Amen. Amen. Amen.